Hello! It is Friday evening and it's a bank holiday weekend, so I just randomly decided that I wanted to vlog this weekend. It's already quite late on Friday actually, it's 9:30 already. I finished work hours ago, but here we are. So I thought I would just discuss with you my weekend reading plans, which start off with finishing Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett. I started off today at around page 198 and I'm now on page 268. So I've read 60 pages today so far, which isn't a lot, but I am reading this quite slowly because it is quite complicated. The magic system is a lot to get your head around, so I'm reading it quite slowly. But for tonight I would ideally, so this is where I am now. This is how much I've got left and this is where I'd like to get to by the end of tonight. I would like to get to page 300, but that's a couple of pages into a chapter, so 298. So I'll have read 100 pages today and then I'll have about 200 pages left, and ideally I will read that tomorrow. This is book 2 in the Founders trilogy. Book 1 is Foundryside, which I read for the first time last January and then reread at the beginning of this month in preparation for this sequel. It's an epic fantasy series that follows a cast of characters, but the main character is Sanchia, who is a thief, and she has some special magical abilities in a world where magic is called scriving, and it's a specific language that you can write on anything with this particular language and make it believe something different about its own reality and persuade it to act in a different way. So this is the sequel, so I can't really talk too much about this one, but we do get a lot more complex in terms of the scriving magic, and it boggles my mind a little bit in places, so it is taking me a bit longer to read this one and I'm reading a bit slower than I perhaps normally would. But that is my main sort of goal for the weekend, but I'm really hoping that I'll be able to finish this one tomorrow because it's already very gripping, and I suspect that by the time we get into the last sort of 150 pages, it's going to be pretty unputdownable if book 1 was anything to go by. So that's first up on the docket, and then from there my reading plans can be a little bit sort of fluid, I think. So I would like to read book 2 in the Dark Vault, which is The Unbound. This is by B.E. Schwab. I read the archived, end of 2018 I think, and I just haven't ever got round to reading The Unbound, this is a bind up of the 2 books. And I'm reading sequels this month, so I would like to pick this one up next. I do have the audiobook for it through my library and it's only sort of 10 hours and I read at 2 times speed. So hopefully I should be able to finish this long weekend as well. So if that works out nicely, then I might pick up volumes 3 and 4 of Maid Sama, which is a manga series, and I've read volumes 1 and 2, so these are the sequels that I currently have on my shelves. Because it's manga, it's fairly easy to pick up and put down, so I might potentially just pick this up and put it down as and when I'm in the mood for it. I've also managed to find an audiobook for The Long Walk by Stephen King, writing as Richard Bachman. That would be a reread for me. I literally just sort of an hour ago watched a video by Emily Fox. If you don't know her, I will link her in the description bar. She's actually the first booktube channel I ever found, and this is her favourite Stephen King, and she was talking about it in this video, and I don't know, it just made me want to reread it because I've read it and it's the only Stephen King I've read, but I did enjoy it. I mean, it's messed up, but that's kind of Stephen King, I think, isn't it? So I might start rereading that on audio, I don't know. And to be honest, I really want to go ahead and read book 4 in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series, Never Seen. I've read books 1 to 3, of course, and 2 and 3 I actually read this month, but I still just want to carry on with this series because I absolutely love it. And if I pick this up this weekend, I will probably finish it this weekend, because I just, once I start these books, I just cannot put them down, and I just breeze through them within like a day, or if at most 2. So theoretically I could finish Shorefall tomorrow, read The Unbound on Sunday, and then read this on Monday, and potentially read some of this. For now, like I said, it's about 9:30 on Friday, and I'm going to try and get through to page 300 of Shorefall so that I can then hopefully finish that one tomorrow. Also, yes, I have clipped my hair back because my fringe is starting to get in my eyes and it's driving me crazy, and I can't get a haircut. And because my hair is curly, I dare not try and cut it myself. So when the curls start to drop out, it starts to fall in my eyes, which is what tends to happen towards the end of the day. So it drives me crazy, and I just needed to pin it back, because otherwise I probably would have taken the kitchen scissors to it, and that would just be a bad idea. Even though it sounds like a great idea right now, I know it would be a bad idea. I have actually cut my fringe myself before, and so has my mum. I cut my fringe for me, and both times complete disaster. Luckily this was when I was a lot younger, so it still wasn't great at the time, but I've learned my lesson. Okay, it's now 11:15. I have made it to page 298 as planned of Shorefall, which is chapter 26. I probably could stay up and carry on reading, to be honest, but I am kind of tired too, and like I said, it's 11:15, which is late enough, so I think I'm going to get ready for bed and go to sleep. And hopefully that will mean that I will do some better reading tomorrow, although I do technically read better at night, but I feel like I just want to go to bed. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll leave it there for this evening, and I shall see you in the morning. Good morning, it is Saturday. I've had a quick shower and rinsed my hair so that it's hopefully a little bit more curly and out of my face. But now I'm going to have some breakfast and watch some YouTube before I start reading. 14 pages. And then I thought, I feel a little sleepy, so let me just lay down for a bit and then I'll carry on reading. And now it's 5 to 5 and I've been napping for I don't know how long, a while, and then I've been on Instagram. So as usual, I'm just useless at reading during the day, especially at the weekend, because I just want to sleep. So that's what I did, and now I have still nearly 200 pages if I want to finish this book today, which I do. So yeah, that's just predictable, to be honest. I should have seen that coming, but it is 5 o'clock, so I guess tonight might be a late night. We'll see. So I've just spent an hour and a half, I think, on the phone with my mum, so not so much reading progress there, but I am on chapter 31, page 350, so I've read about 50 pages today in fact, so I've got like 150 pages left, but things are heating up. We're getting into the sort of realms of the final showdown coming up, so it's quite late now. I think it's like 9 o'clock, so but I will stay up and finish this one tonight, because I think, you know, once you get into the last sort of 150 pages of a book, it's quite difficult to put it down and go to bed. Just watching Haruki. And my battery just started flashing. So I am enjoying this book. I'm really interested to see how it's going to finish. I'm very suspicious of lots of things. And yeah, so hopefully the next time we speak I will have actually read more than 50 pages. See you then. Hello, it is Sunday. It's the afternoon already, it's 1 o'clock, but I have now finished Shortfall by Robert Jackson Bennett. I didn't finish it as quickly as I wanted, but that's because it's my grandma's birthday today and I spent quite a while on the phone with her because she's in lockdown by herself, although my uncle is doing a social distanced visit to her today, which is good. But a lot happened in the last 90 pages of this particular book, which is, you know, unsurprising, but yeah, a lot of things happened. A lot of directions were taken that I was kind of expecting, but in ways I wasn't expecting. So like certain things happened that I had predicted, but the result of those things was very different to what I thought. So the third book in this trilogy is going to be very interesting, I think. I have no idea when that's coming out, so that's probably going to be a while, because there was probably about a year and a half, maybe even slightly longer, between book 1 and 2. So I suspect we're going to be waiting a while for book 3, which is sad. But I really like this series so far. The characters are great, the relationships between the characters are great, and those were improved on like massively in this particular entry as well. And the magic system remains, you know, fascinating, complicated and difficult to follow sometimes, but still fascinating. And I feel like the story gives the vibe of being like a heist story. So if you like that kind of thing, I think you'd like this series. It's not that it necessarily is a heist, but it has all the elements and the tension that heist stories tend to come along with. So if that's your thing, I'd massively recommend it. If complicated, rule-heavy magic systems are your thing, highly recommend it. If you like a large cast of characters that are all really in-depth and who have real personality, they feel like really real people and that have great relationships with each other, then this book is probably for you. So I think I probably would have enjoyed it more if I hadn't taken so long to read it. That's on me, that's not a fault with the book at all. I will probably reread it at some point, not right away obviously, but I am going to move on to The Unbound. Not right away, I'm going to have lunch first and then I'm going to get started on this one after lunch. Okay, bye. So I filmed and edited a video earlier, but I am still making really good progress with The Unbound. I'm currently on chapter 11, 103 pages, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's just very light, easy reading. It's YA, or is it? Because I thought V.E. Schwab only put VE on her adult novels, but maybe she does it with her young adult as well. Anyway, it reads young adult. And don't know if I told you what it's about. I don't think I did. So basically, we follow a character named Mackenzie, who is what's called a keeper. And the job of a keeper is to stop histories from leaving the Narrows and getting into our world. So it's urban fantasy. The Narrows is a place between our world and the library, and the library is the place that stores histories being the manifestation of people after they have died that store all of their memories. I don't think I'll say anything else. That's the premise of the story. You can probably guess the kind of directions that's going to go in. Like I said before, I read the first one towards the end of 2018, I think it was, and I really enjoyed it. And I just never got round to reading the second one. I think it was because I was a little apprehensive because it was meant to be a trilogy. And then I don't know what went wrong, but something went wrong with the publication of the series, and so only the second book was ever released and the third book never has been. And I don't know if it's even been written, but Schwab has specifically said that because of everything that happened, she's not going to ever be releasing the third book. So I was just worried that it would end on like a cliffhanger and then I'd really struggle with it. But I've got a lot better over the last year or so about reading a book and then waiting for the sequel. And I mean, I waited well over a year and a half nearly, to read the second book, so it's okay. So I'm enjoying it and I like the characters, and we've got more of a high school setting in this one, which I'm actually quite enjoying. And it's because it's been a while, I was worried about having forgotten some of the details, but I still feel the connection to the characters, which is really nice. And it's just light and fun and easy to read, which I'm enjoying because Foundry Side was a little bit on the heavier side of fantasy, and this is urban fantasy written in a much lighter style. So I am enjoying that quite a lot. It is currently 7:45, not that you would believe it from the amount of natural light in this shot, which I am personally loving quite immensely. I have 7 hours and 46 minutes of the audiobook left, which at 2 times speed is like nearly 4 hours, just under 4 hours. So I should finish probably around midnight, because I'm going to call my grandma again since it's her birthday today and she's mostly by herself, although my uncle has visited, which I think I already said. But I am going to carry on reading for maybe an hour or so before I call her, and then I might take a bit of a break and then carry on. And I do still want to finish this one today if I can. So hello and welcome to Bank Holiday Monday. It's actually already nearly 1 o'clock. The downside to staying up late reading is you end up getting up later too. So yeah, it's much later in the day than I would have liked, but I did finish The Unbound last night and I really enjoyed it. I was really happy to get to the end and realise that the ending was conclusive enough that I'm not too aggrieved by the fact that there is no book 3. There's one sort of thing that happens at the end of the book, which is what tells you that there's going to be another book, but everything else is pretty nicely wrapped up. So I'm kind of going to just pretend that that one thing didn't happen and just take it as a duology. And like I said yesterday, it was just really nice and easy to read and enjoyable. The plot was nice and fast paced and interesting, kept me guessing all the way through. The high school setting I actually really enjoyed. We were introduced to a few new characters too, which was nice, and I enjoyed meeting them, and we also spent some time developing the relationships that existed in the first book. And I feel like it was really well, because I haven't read the first book in so long, I felt like it was really well done, the way that the relationships still felt important and we then grew on those as well. So I really liked that, and I really thoroughly enjoyed my read of this. So that means that I have read around 660 pages so far, because that one was 360, I believe, and I read sort of 300-ish of Shorefall, so we're at about 660. And now I'm going to read Never Seen, which is book 3 in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series, and this one is 672 pages long, and I fully anticipate flying through this one today, because I always do with these books. They're so gripping. I'm so excited to read this. So I'm gonna get going. Yes, my hair is wet again, and yes, I'm wearing the top that I was wearing on Friday, because basically in this lockdown I am rotating between 3 tops and 3 pairs of jogging bottoms, and that's the reality of my lockdown life. So we just have to live with that, and I'm gonna get reading and check in with you in a while. I don't know how often I'm gonna check in with you. The problem is this is book 4, so again, it's really, like with all of these books, because I'm reading sequels this month, it's really difficult to talk about them because I don't want to spoil anything. But book 1 was really great setup and familiarising us with the world and the characters, and then book 2 was really good at the character development and getting us to know those characters better. And then book 3, we were starting to be introduced to some new characters and also building on the relationships that we already had. And just remembering what happened at the end of the 3rd one, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so good. Oh! So I'm gonna start this right now. So I have very quickly blown through to chapter 12, 116 pages in. As always, I'm completely absorbed by this story straight away. I'm really interested to see where it's going to go. Motivating myself to read this it's not going to be a problem throughout today. So really enjoying it. Such a great series. I honestly cannot recommend this series enough. It's just so gripping and easy to read, and there's something really comforting about it, and it feels almost nostalgic even though I don't have any nostalgia associated with it. So I am thoroughly enjoying myself. But I am going to take a quick break now to have some lunch. I'm probably just going to have buttered bread because I'm obsessed with bread, and that's kind of what I fancy. I do have some leftover pasta that I could have, but I'm not sure I particularly fancy that right now. We'll see. But I'm gonna have some lunch and watch some YouTube, and then I'm gonna carry on with this book, and I'm loving it. Hello, so as you might be able to tell, it is now the next day. I did finish Never Seen last night, but not until sort of 12:30, so that's why I didn't check in with you then. But I just love this series. The books are so good, and we had lots of new information dropped on us to add some new mysteries into the mix. We had some answers, we had some twists. I kind of saw some of the twists coming, but again, it's middle grade, so if I can't figure out the twists that are coming, you know, that would be a concern for me as a full-grown adult. I just love this series. It is so good. I love the characters. I love everything that's happening with the plot. It's so well paced, and I just can't wait to see what is going to happen in the rest of this series. And I really do have to hold myself back from binging it because it's not finished yet, and I just know that once I get to the end of the books that are currently out, it's going to kill me to wait for the next one. But honestly, this book, so good. And that's kind of it for this bank holiday reading weekend vlog. I finished up the last 300-ish pages of Shorefall. I read the 360 pages of The Unbound, and I read the 672 pages of Never Seen. So I read about 1,330-ish pages over the course of the weekend, which I am super happy with. I think that's really good. That's a lot of pages for me as a slow reader, and of course I was helped by the fact that for this one and for The Unbound I had the audiobooks to help me, and I did read Shorefall very slowly by myself, but I really enjoyed everything I read. Shorefall was epic and intricate, and I'm super invested and just like hotly anticipating the sequel because I think it's going to be even more explosive than the first two books were. And then The Unbound was just light and easy to read and enjoyable, and I liked the characters and it just felt really comforting in a way. And then this series, I'm out of words to describe how much I love this series. It's so good. I just love it. So that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks. Bye.